Here are my thoughts about 0% interest financing. It's the worst thing you could probably ever do for yourself, your future, your family's future. It's probably one of the worst things you could sign up for. And here's why. 0% interest financing options is something that is offered at almost any store now. Go to any website and search. You'll see it. You'll find it. You'll see the credit card. You'll see the option that's 0% interest financing for this many months. Only pay this much money for 24 months, 12 months, 36 months, whatever it may be. You're getting sold these every single day, whether you're buying a new mattress, whether you're buying a new car, whether you're buying a new phone, whether you're buying a new chair. No matter what it is, financing is available on quite literally everything. It's pushed every single day, and yet people sign up for it. And if something is being supported by large businesses, maybe don't trust that something. Maybe it's a bad something. Maybe if everybody's saying, yeah, do this, maybe don't do it. Because I've noticed recently that maybe you shouldn't follow exactly the trends that everybody is following. If everybody's buying the latest and greatest iPhone, maybe don't. Maybe save a few bucks. But seriously, these 0% interest financing options are offered by every company. And if you were to talk to anybody who works in retail, if you were to talk to anybody who knows anything about finance and anything, they would say, yeah, no, don't sign up for those, because it's a simple way for you to spend way more money than you could normally afford. This happened to me. This is why I'm so passionate about these things, is because most of the things I talk about have happened to me in one form or another, whether it's buying a phone on payment plans, buying too much phone, buying this, buying that. And I've admitted this before, but I had over $6,000 of credit card debt at the end of 2018. I had a 0% interest financing card that I got, and I just started swiping. I mean, that thing, I looked at that thing like it didn't have a limit. It did have a limit, but I spent a lot of money on it. And I didn't even realize what I was doing, because I kept thinking in my head, well, I'll just pay it off. And I was saving up some money, and I was just going to pay it off in one big chunk. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It is a big deal, because you buy more than you need. You buy more than you can afford. At the time, I bought a $2,500 camera. It's this camera that I'm filming on now. I can afford it now. At the time, I couldn't. I got out of the mistake because I made some decent decisions, but I should never put myself in that situation and in that kind of stress level at all, because it's there in the back of your head constantly. And whether you're thinking about it actively or not, you know that you have this debt lingering over your head. And, I got 23 months till I pay off my couch. Only 11 more months till I pay off my phone. Like, that's just there. It's there forever. And most people, they buy a couch, use it for 3, 4, 5 years, pay it off in 3 or 4 years, and then buy a new one. They never own anything. They own it for like 2 years and they get rid of it and buy something new. Nobody owns anything, whether it's the content that they watch, like Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, whatever it may be, or the phones. People don't own anything anymore. And these big corporations own everything, and they just let you borrow it, basically. I'm trying to get into the whole buy movies thing now, and maybe buy some music and keep it on CDs. That way nobody can steal that from me. It's mine. It's my music. It's my DVD. It's something that I own. And I'm a big advocate of you owning your own stuff, because nobody can take that from you. That's why I tell all my friends, maybe consider buying some gold, because the government can't take that from you. They can't track your gold. They can track your money, and maybe I'm sounding a little crazy right now, but you have to be wary of these big companies that can take advantage of you, and they know you better than you know yourself, and they know when you're going to buy next. They know when you get in a fight with your wife. They know all these things about you, and yet they're like, hey, no, it's okay. Get a 0% interest financing option. That's good. It's a good thing. Here's a credit card. It's fine. You want to buy this? Use this credit card. You could pay it off in 12 months. And I think what's happening is a lot of times people are signing up for them, and they see, it's only $58 a month. I can make that work. All I have to do is, maybe work an extra shift here or there, or maybe all I have to do is sell something here or there. I can make it work for sure. It's not that much money. It's like going out to eat twice. People are really good at making compromises in their life and sort of justifying everything. I know I certainly was in the past, and I probably still am now, but I'm definitely a lot better about it. So how is this bankrupting America? I may have mentioned this earlier, but the middle class and the lower class normally eat a lot of the brunt of these 0% interest financing options, because they're the ones who sign up for it. They're the ones that live closer to paycheck. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and that's mostly middle and lower class. Now, it's not a systematic thing that's keeping you down. It's not the government. It's not bad people. What it is it's companies. And it's companies that are just trying to make the most money from you. That's why they do it. They give you these credit card options because they want you to spend more money than you could afford. But they know that you can afford it, and as long as they get the money from you, they don't really care. It's like college. Like, you give them $30,000 or $120,000, they could care less about your student loans. They don't really care. They got the money, go. The education you get is so mediocre anyways. You could get a better education online. I mean, financing, there's so much better information. Don't go to college. I think college is the biggest waste of money. Maybe if you want a certain profession, go, but I really believe, I'm not a believer in college. I'm a believer in maybe meeting people. Trade jobs I think are really wonderful. You can make a ton of money and they're in super high demand now. That's just my opinion. If you're looking maybe a little bit younger, look into it. Some stranger told you on the internet, definitely trust me. I feel like I'm talking to you like I know you, and maybe you shouldn't go into trade. Maybe you're bad with your hands and you don't get it, but maybe you should. I don't know. Anyways, I think that it's really important for us to realize what these 0% interest financing options are. It's basically the company's way of almost taxing you to own stuff. If you wanted a new car, you could buy two different options, right? The middle class guy who's going to make it out of the middle class and into the upper class buys the $8,000 Toyota Corolla, the used car with 50,000 miles. That's perfectly fine. They know it's got a nice engine. It'll last a nice long time, maybe 5-6 years, and then they'll sell it, maybe lose a total of $4,000 on it, $5,000, and then they'll move on to the next car. Maybe they'll upgrade a little bit, but they do it slowly over time in a way that makes sense. And then there's the other middle class guy that's going to be middle class his whole life, and he gets a nice new high paying job, just like the Toyota Corolla guy, but then he turns around and buys a Tesla, or he leases a Tesla, and he's never going to own one of these cars for the rest of his life because he's going to constantly be upgrading. And one day he's going to look and be like, I've been spending $700 on my car for the last 15 years. I've spent almost $200,000 on cars alone in the last 15 years, whereas the Toyota Corolla guy has spent like maybe $20,000 on cars after buying them and selling them and using them for 5, 6, 7 years at a time. I like to think I'm the Toyota Corolla guy. I happen to have a Toyota Corolla, and I did buy it for like $1,100, and I'm super proud of it, and I do love the car. I leased it to start, but then I ended up buying it out, so I think it's going to kind of work out to be okay, and I really do love the car. But I think it's those decisions that I really believe are what takes people from like the middle class, lower middle class, maybe upper middle class, to like that next level of class where it's like you don't ever worry about money. And that would be so wonderful. Can you imagine never having to worry about money? You know, you don't need the job that pays $250,000 a month. You don't have those golden handcuffs keeping you there because, I got this huge house and this huge car payment, and yada, yada, yada. All these 0% interest financing payments. So at the end of the day, my biggest thing about these payments, it's not that the interest is killing you because it's 0%. Interest is obviously a thing. I am so averse to interest that I don't know it. I'm not even, that is not even in my realm really. But I know that a lot of people sign up for credit cards with interest and sign up for credit cards with 0% interest financing. And these options are, I truly believe, bankrupting people because they're spending more than they could normally afford, whether it be on the iPhones or the computers. And they're basically taking money out of their paycheck each month and signing it over to Apple. And instead of maybe buying the $1,200 phone that they bought with the payments, they'd look at it and be like, I'm going to go buy a $400 used one on Swap and save $800. When you start doing the math, you start stretching it out over 20, 30, 40, 50 years. These numbers get massive. If you're telling me that you save maybe $500 on a phone every single year because you bought the cheap one and you keep it for longer as opposed to upgrading every single year, you're talking about massive changes. Just 12 years, you're at $6,000. These changes are huge. 20 years, you're at $10,000. $10,000? Like, can you imagine me just handing you a check of $10,000 right now? These things are really important, and I think people need to think about the long term a lot more than they need to think about the short term. My wife and I just sold our house. That's why I'm in a new office now. And we were thinking about the long term. That's the question we keep asking ourselves. We kept asking ourselves, how is this going to affect Scott and Carly 20 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 2 years down the line? And then we were thinking, how is it going to affect us today? And we're like, well, honestly, it sucks today. It sucks tomorrow. It's going to suck for a month or two until we get moved out of the house and we get situated into our new apartment and everything. It's going to suck for a while. But then, in 5 years, we're going to be like, man, that was a brilliant decision. I'm super glad we did that. That's what we believe. We almost bought a house and we thought, this would be great today and bad in 5 years. You got to make sure you're thinking it's going to be maybe a little bad today, maybe a little sacrifice, and maybe a little suffering, but great for you in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I think a lot of people don't think like that. They're really willing to sign up for the new iPhone payment or sign up to get the new iPhone or whatever, because all they want it is now. They just want it now, and they're not willing to suffer, and they're not willing to sacrifice, and they're not willing to look at themselves and think, maybe I don't need this, maybe I'm just getting it to show off to certain people or so that certain people think I'm doing better than I actually am, and they're just lying. They're lying to everybody, but they're really lying to themselves, and I think that's one of the biggest crimes here, is that these 0% interest financing options make you look like the smartest guy in the room, but really these companies do it not to help you. When has a company ever helped you? When do they do that? If you don't buy their products, of course a company's going to make it easy for you to buy their product. I mean, like, come on, people. This is like common sense. Like, a company wants you to buy their stuff, and they're going to try and get as much money from you as they can. So they found a way with these 0% interest financing options to do that. And they found a way to suck as much money from you as they possibly can. So I don't understand why people that like don't understand that. Like, these companies are not here to help you. Oh, they got me a really good deal on my car. No, they didn't. They just made $10,000, $20,000 on you. They didn't get you a good deal. They got themselves a good deal, and you were suckered into it. Okay, that's the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Sorry, it's been a while, but obviously I moved. So I think there's a decent excuse there. So see you guys in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Peace out.